Hi, guys. Welcome to my podcast. My first episode, I wanted to do it in honor of our 100 days in the NICU. Background noise. So, today marks 100 days of my twin girls in the NICU. With that comes a lot of emotions. A lot. Probably every single emotion has been felt. Being sad, being mad, stress, anxiety, everything. Everything you could think of, I've felt it to the core. I'm gonna try not to make this long, but I do want to share my story with you guys in hopes that maybe somebody can see this and have some hope. I wish I came across something that made me feel better in the beginning, but I was in a period where everything and everyone was shut out and nothing mattered but my babies. So with that being said, I kind of lost track, but I keep looking down because I took notes. So yes, 100 days in the NICU, 100 days that my girls have been there, and we still don't know when they're coming home, but we're getting closer and closer. So that's all that matters. They're doing better, they're stable, but I want to rewind to the beginning of everything and let you guys know how it all started and why they're still in the NICU and the progress they've done, because I'm so proud of them. So, for those of you that know, I gave birth to twin girls, Eileen and Eliana, on June 4th, 2021. So, Eileen and Eliana are identical twins. They are considered monochorionic diamniotic twins. So, when you are pregnant with twins, it's automatically considered a high-risk pregnancy. With that being said, there is 3 types of twins. There's dichorionic diamniotic twins, which is 2 amniotic sacs, each have their placenta. I don't know why I said it like that. There's monochorionic diamniotic twins, mono meaning 1 placenta, each in their own sac. That's the pregnancy that I had. And there's also monochorionic monoamniotic twins, which is 1 amniotic sac and 1 placenta. So, dichorionic diamniotic twins, the 2 sacs, 2 placentas, is still a high-risk pregnancy, but if you have the monochorionic twins, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Monochorionic diamniotic, in my case, it's more risky. Why is it more risky? Because they are at risk of twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. And this is something that a lot of people don't talk about because you don't know or hear about it unless you're pregnant with twins. And that's something I've never heard of till I started seeing a specialist for my high-risk pregnancy. So, yeah, you can imagine the anxiety, the fear that I had from the beginning, finding out. I was 8 weeks pregnant when I found out I was carrying twins, and it was a surprise. You can't help but feel happy, and everybody's excited for you. And, oh my God, you're never going to sleep. You're going to be so tired. What are you going to do? Blah, blah, blah. But once you sit down and talk to the doctor and you find out the risks that come with this pregnancy, it builds up the anxiety. And there's really nothing you can do. Really nothing, which is why you're monitored every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks I was going in for an ultrasound and I was getting checked, make sure everything was good. So with that being said, twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, you're so annoying, Eliseo, means each twin is in their amniotic sac but sharing their placenta. So when their umbilical cord implants into the placenta, one twin can have more access to the nutrients where the other twin doesn't. And that's where they check for every 2 weeks. I was getting checked for the fluid levels, make sure they're both growing equally and whatnot. So I was about 25 weeks when I started feeling less fetal movement. And I felt super bloated, which, you know, if you're carrying twins, you're already big as it is. But I just felt uncomfortable. And I was at work one day and I said, you know, something doesn't feel right. So during my lunch break, I called my doctor and she said, you know what? It sounds kind of weird. Just go to labor and delivery. I want you to get checked out. So I went and I got admitted. And after getting admitted, you know, they're checking and they can't figure out what's wrong with me. They're like, you know, you're having back pain. You feel bloated. We don't know what's going on. But in the process of that, I noticed they put the contraction belt and they started doing an ultrasound and they just couldn't really find the heartbeat of baby B. Baby A, was strong. Their heartbeat was strong, but baby B, it was kind of faint, but it was still not enough to like decide that something was wrong. So they did an ultrasound. I was there all night from like, seriously, from 11 to 11 in the morning to like 10 o'clock at night. So at 9 p.m. a doctor comes in and says, I think you're going through the twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. So there's 4 stages in the twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. And when it gets caught early on, you go through a surgical procedure where a doctor, a specialist, goes in and he's able to separate the blood vessels of the babies that connect. The babies don't connect. I'm sorry, that made no sense. Okay, the babies and their blood vessels and everything connects in the placenta. So one starts taking the nutrients from the other. Well, I shouldn't say taking, but you know, there's an imbalance of the nutrients. So one of the babies, you know, was having a fluid overload. So we had planned for the next day to go through the surgical procedure. So they discharged me home. They said, okay, you're going to go home. In case you start feeling worse, come back. I said, okay, you know, I was still going through a lot of pain, but I was like, I'm going to see the specialist tomorrow. We'll see what happens. So I go home 10 p.m., 10:30. That night at 3 a.m., I start getting contractions. And I'm like, but I didn't know they were contractions. I just felt pain. So I said, oh, this hurts. But it started coming on more frequently. Keep in mind, Adrian's 7 years old. I forgot what it's like. I forgot what's a contraction, but I was feeling something was completely off. So I told Elisa, oh, you need to take me to the hospital. Something's not right. I think I'm having contractions. So we went around 4 or 5 in the morning. And once I got admitted into labor and delivery, I was 4 centimeters dilated. So they put me on medications and to try to slow everything down. And I was trying to keep my cool to not stress my babies out. So they took me to a room. In that room, you know, just in case you're going to have a C-section, they put you in there. And they say, okay, we're going to wait here. We're going to give you your epidural because the contractions were getting stronger. And they said, we're going to wait for your doctor to come. And she will do a more thorough ultrasound and we'll go from there. And the nurse I had was so amazing. Like, she kept telling me, you're okay. You can cry if you want. I had so many emotions. I didn't know what to feel. Everything was just happening so fast. And all I knew was that I wanted my babies to be okay. That's all I wanted. So I was okay. I was breathing. Elisa was keeping me cool. And I was trying my best. I really was. And what does that mean? I don't know. Trying to keep it together. So the nurse was guiding me through everything, and I love her so much. Maddie, thank you so much for all your support through my labor. I don't know what I would have done if I had somebody else. But anyways, going back to my doctor coming in. My doctor comes in, says hi. We're all, hey, whatever, we're going to see what's going to happen, and then we'll go from there. As soon as she does the ultrasound, she starts on the far right, which is where baby A was, Eliana. Get a strong heartbeat. Okay, we're good. Let's go to the side. On the monitor, all you see from the little heartbeat was like a few lines, then a straight line. Few lines, straight line, few lines. And I knew from that moment something was off. Something was not okay.